Hey everyone, Ron here with Innovative Digital Group. So the next question FAQ that I have is how long does it take to do a wireless survey? So how long does it take to do a wireless site survey? So this depends, warehouse, office, etc. I'm just going to kind of throw this out. An office doesn't take that long. It just depends on the square footage. So I've done a wireless site survey recently and it was 12 floors. So that should have been split into 3 days because I actually crammed it all in one. It wasn't a rush, but I could have taken more time. I think it actually took 12 hours, so it was 12 floors, and it was underpriced to say the least, because what takes the longest is actually the report and the summary. 50-50. You have the report, the summary, and then the on-site. So let's say it's one small office like this, and you could calculate, just do the math. This shouldn't take that long. An office site survey like this might take half a day to 3/4 of a day, depending on if your software is acting right, etc., battery levels, driving to the site, the location, so minus the traffic, etc. So if I'm in Toronto, going from my home city, which is about 40 minutes away, into Toronto is about an hour. Leave at 8 o'clock, get there at 9 o'clock. I would say this would take about till 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock. So, like I said, you get in there, you do a physical walkthrough, sit down with the IT manager, talk about the access points, etc., the goals, what you're doing, get started, and this might take 3 hours because you're taking images, you're taking snapshots, you're making sure you properly plan this. You might scrap the first one, say no, that doesn't work. Take more heat maps because you're recording all your levels on paper, marking down on your paper. You're getting minus. I like to do it on paper as well as, doing this. You start your site survey. So I started, I'm over here, I started, and I walk, and the levels got lower, and I click here, 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 here. But you're also marking it on paper that you're getting these levels, right? I know, I guess I'm old school because just used to doing on paper, but this will also give you all the data that you can reference back. So you click on here, etc. So that'll take about 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 hours, I would say, on site for something like this. Taking your time, you could rush it. It could take you 3 hours, but let's say you got multiple floors, so you just multiply how many floors you're doing. At max, you'd probably say 5 hours a floor, so 3 floors, you could probably do it. I would say I'd spread it over a day and a half, 2 days, and then the report. So the report's going to take a while because you have to embed your analysis, your recommendations, because as you're walking through, you're making notes as you go. Like, let's say you get a lot of drops. You could actually mark that as a problematic point that you're getting drops. Put that in your notes as reference. So once you do your active site survey, the second step, because then you're doing a passive site survey throughout the whole facility on every floor. So you did an active site survey. The next thing you do is you turn off your thing. You have your AP here that you're recommending. Then you're doing a passive site survey for this area. You move your AP on a stick to the second place where you've recommended it right here. So you'd start a new thing, save it as AP2 passive. AP2 passive is in this area. Okay. And then you go to the next level. Let's say it's here, passive 3 in this area. So at least you can see that this AP in a passive point sees this AP and it's recorded. You don't have to put in your report, but as long as you have those log files, it's fine. Then number 4, number 5, you do the same thing. The third thing you want to do is your spectrum analysis. So this actually might take, it depends. How long will it take? Depends what the customer has requested. If it's just an active site survey, okay, position of APs, good. So you're going to sell them on that. If you want an active and a passive site survey, okay, it's going to cost you this. If you want an active, a passive, plus a spectrum analysis, it's going to cost you more. So factor in all your time. Maybe it'll take a day because you're doing a spectrum analysis. Your spectrum analysis is going to see how clean the air is, okay? You're going to come in here, see how clean the air is. That's your third report that you have to embed into your site survey. So that's the main thing. Embed it, make sure that everything is fine. The waterfalls, no interference. You're showing how clean the air is. So If they all had all three, I would recommend 3/4 of a day for at least one floor. Second floor, it depends. You could maybe do 2 floors in a day, right? But the longest thing is like the reporting time for everything. So that's how long it takes to do a wireless site survey. If you're talking about a warehouse, warehouses are more challenging. Every warehouse is different. 200,000 square feet, I'd recommend a day on site plus days writing the report. And it depends on how long it takes you and how fast you are with working with maps and images and cutting out, because you're going to embed your photo, your map, take your spectrum analysis, take your active survey, take your passive site survey, see what you did on base one. So there is a lot of reporting. I do the active site survey, physical site survey, and then I hand it off to a team. Some of my prior employees would do the report part, but you just, sometimes the main thing is you have to make sure you can locate all of those maps later, because a lot of people save reports, and I've tried finding some old site surveys that we were trying to look for, and it got lost on employee's laptop. It broke. There was no copy, etc. So anyways, that's it. Let's get into the next FAQ.